In this video, I show you the settings options in the Setup Escort Parameters tab, with which you can adjust every entry, stop, and target strategy completely according to your own ideas. The settings affected will be carried out for the turtle long signals, which are included in AgenaTrader by default if you're using the current version 1.9. You can therefore retrace the settings I will show in your own AgenaTrader. As the first step, we open the Setup Escort using the following symbol. In the first tab, Activation, we check whether all entry, stop, and target escorts that we would like to use are activated. For missing escorts that you would like to use, place the check mark next to the entry. Switch to the tab Parameters. To refresh this window and load newly activated escorts, click on any point in one of the boxes of the escort windows. For each entry that you now select, the various settings options for this escort will appear in the right-hand side of the parameter box. First, we'll take a closer look at the settings options of the entry escorts. To do so, we select the entry turtle long. Entry escort, automated. Here you can decide whether the setup should be automatically traded as soon as it occurs. The default setting here is false, which is the same as semi-automatic trading of this signal. When a signal occurs, it is shown and the suggested orders are placed into the chart, but you first have to confirm the orders before they're actually submitted to the broker. If you select Automated is true, this is equivalent to fully automatic trading of this signal. As soon as the corresponding entry signal occurs, the orders, including the stored AT++ strategy, are immediately placed into the market and submitted to the broker. Confirmation on your part is then no longer necessary. Break even after N risk. Here you can set after how many risks in the plus your stop should be placed at break even. This feature can be a big help for your trading strategy. Here you can determine that the stop should automatically be dragged to break even as soon as, for example, plus 1R has been generated with the trade. If the trade goes well, in this way it is optimally secured and you're completely out of the risk with the trade. The stop then continues to be trailed according to the assigned stop escort. Break-even tick difference. You have the option to refine your setting for break-even after N risk. Here you can set how many ticks above or below the entry price the stop should be located after your set break-even risk is reached. The stop is then, therefore, not placed precisely at plus or minus 0, but the corresponding number of ticks above or below. Execution sound. Set the sound file by which the executed order should be accompanied as soon as a position is opened based on the selected entry escort. Order mode defines the order mode. Here you can select direct or synthetic. A direct order is, as the name suggests, placed directly in the market and submitted to the broker. A synthetic order is only placed in the chart in AgenaTrader and not yet submitted to the broker. Only when the synthetic order is triggered in AgenaTrader is the order then sent to the broker. Order type. Here you can determine the order type with which the entry order should be placed in the market. You can choose between market, stop, limit, and stop limit. These are the default order types that are also used in every other trading platform. For the following email options I'm about to list, you have to enter a default email address in the configuration escort under the menu item Alerts and then Email Settings, and the SMTP settings must be correctly entered. If you need support with this, please read more in the AgenaTrader wiki under www.agenatrader.com/wiki. For the mobile notifications, the AgenaTrader notifier needs to be installed on your mobile phone and connected to your AgenaTrader. For this, you can also find more detailed information in the AgenaTrader wiki. Send execution mail. When you select True here, an email is sent as soon as an entry order of this entry escort is executed. Send signal mail. An email is sent when an entry signal occurs. Send signal mobile notification. You receive a notification sent to your mobile phone when an entry signal occurs. Show in Dynamic Scanner. The Dynamic Scanner is a new feature of AgenaTrader. For a more detailed description of the functionality, please read more in our wiki. When you select True here, then the Dynamic Scanner scans for this signal. Signal sound. If a sound file is stored here, this is played as soon as the corresponding entry signal occurs in an Analyzer escort column. A signal is only outputted when the sound alerts have been activated in the scanner. For this, you have to select Enable Sound Alerts with an Analyzer escort by right-clicking in the desired list. When the turtle long entry signal now occurs in the Analyzer escort of this list, a sound notification is outputted. Specific risk amount. If a sum of money is entered here, then the risk settings from the configuration escort are overwritten. Caution, risk percent has a higher priority than risk amount. Specific risk percent. If a percentage is entered here, then the risk settings from the configuration escort are overwritten. Once again, please note that risk percent has a higher priority than risk amount. Stop escort. For this example, I will choose the Bollinger Bands as the stop escort. The options deviation and periods regulate the calculation methods of the Bollinger Bands and are only available specifically for this stop escort. Each stop escort has specific settings that we will not go into more detail about here. The following settings are available for every stop escort. The settings execution sound, order mode, and send execution mail have the same functions as already described in the entry escorts, but just regarding the stop escorts in this case. Stop deviation ticks. With this setting, you can select how many ticks above or below the precise placement the order should be located. Wait bars before first trail. Here you can define how many periods the stop waits at the beginning of the trade before the automatic stop management takes over. Target escort. As the target escort, in this example I will select multiple risks 2 levels. The options execution sound, order mode, and send execution mail have the same function as already explained. Now here of course for the target escorts. Profit percentage target. With this setting you can choose what percent of your position should be closed at the respective target. By default 50 is selected for each here. This means that at the first target, half of the position is closed, then at the second target, the trade is completely closed. You can choose any values here, however the sum cannot exceed 100, which is equivalent to full closure of the position. Risks to level. This setting is only available for the multiple risk targets. Here you can specify how many risks there should be from the entry to the respective targets. 1.5 risks means that the first target is placed at the price at which 1.5 times the distance is reached between the entry and the stop loss. The distance from the entry to the stop loss equals 1 risk. The greater the distance, the further away the targets are. Ticks to level. This setting is only available for the fixed tick targets and is equivalent to the risks to level setting with regard to the logic. Here, however, the distance to the targets is now not measured in risks, but in ticks. If, for example, you set ticks to level 1 equals 10, then the first target will be placed exactly 10 ticks away from the entry. Min risks between targets. This setting is only available for the pivot targets. Here you now enter, measured in risks, how far apart the individual targets should be from each other as a minimum. Minimum risks to first target. The pivot targets are placed at local high and low points. With this setting you can choose the minimum distance the first target must be from the entry. So if the target were to find the first local high or low point at 0.5 R, but min risk to first target is set to 0.8 R, then the high or low point that has been found is discarded and AgenaTrader searches for the next point located more than 0.8 R from the entry. We're finished with the explanation of the parameters. Now I would like to make the settings clearer for you with the help of an example. In the Configuration tab, I set the escorts for my turtle long signal according to my wishes. For the initial stop escort, I select ATR. The hard trail stop is Bollinger Bands. Soft trail stop is initial stop only, and target escort is multiple risk 2 levels. My hard trail stop, therefore, should be trailed behind the Bollinger Band. The soft stop is deactivated for this example. My initial stop should be calculated by 1.5 times the ATR, and 2 targets should be placed. Close the Setup Escort with a click on OK. I will show you the same trade several times with replay data so that you can follow all changes that are made in the Parameters tab. First, the turtle long trade with the default settings. In the Apple stock, an active turtle long signal is outputted in the 5-minute chart. With a click on the corresponding turtle long entry escort in the action bar, the buy entry orders are placed in the market. The entry order is of the mode direct and the type stop. I activate the setup and let the replay escort play the course of the Apple stock at 20 times the speed. The entry order is filled. The initial stop is located 1.5 ATR from the entry. With the first candle, the hard trail stop draws close to the Bollinger Band. The first target is quickly filled and half of the position is flattened. Once the second target is reached, the position is flattened completely. Now we change several settings in the Parameter tab. For the turtle long, we now set the order mode to synthetic and the type to limit. Furthermore, we set break-even after n risks to 1. As soon as 1 risk is earned, we want to draw the stop to the start. Again, we let the setup run in the market. The order is now synthetic and therefore only activated in AgenaTrader for the moment and not yet sent to the broker. A synthetic order can be recognized by the dotted line. Since the limit order is above the current price, it is immediately executed at the best price and the trade is opened. Shortly before the first target, plus 1R is reached and the stop is trailed precisely to the entry price. With this, we're completely out of the risk and can no longer lose any money with this trade. After the second target is filled at plus 3R, the trade is closed. Next, we change the setting of the Stop Escort. We open the Setup Escort and the Parameter tab once again, and select the Bollinger Band Stop Escort. We now also set the order mode to synthetic for the Bollinger Band Stop Escort. Furthermore, we set bars before first trail to 3. This means that the stop will only be trailed at the earliest at the third period after the entry. The trade is filled and the hard stop remains at the initial level for the first 2 periods. Only at the third bar is it trailed behind. You can also see that the stop is now a synthetic order. Lastly, we now also change the settings of the Target Escort. In the Parameter tab, we now select the multiple risk 2-level targets. For the execution sound, we select Alert 1, so that we're notified as soon as the target is filled. Here too, we also set the order mode to synthetic, and we set the 2 profit percentage target 1 and 2 to 25 in order to close a quarter of the position at each target. We set risks to level 1 to 1.0. We can see that the targets are now also synthetic orders. As soon as the target is filled, the alert that we have set makes a sound and the stop is once again automatically drawn to the start, since 1 risk has already been earned. The alert also sounds when the second target is reached. After the second target, the trade continues running on with half of the position size. The stop is trailed behind the Bollinger Band until the price undercuts the stop level and the trade is closed with approximately plus 7.5R.